Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. LeTip is an organization of like-minded individuals brought together to help each other's businesses grow and flourish. And today we have a treat for you. We have Sean Abrams from BrightLife. Sean, how are you?
Very well, Doug. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you, first and foremost, for being here, but also for helping me. We're going to get into your story in a second, but you've also helped me because you're in the audio industry and you helped me get my beautiful SUV. And we're going to dive into that today. So first and foremost, thank you.
Very welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for watching and tuning in with us. We are live. So if you have a question, comment, concern, you can put it in the comments section and we can answer it live with you today. But let's get right into it. So, Sean.
Yes.
I kind of said thank you for, helping me, but I didn't go into detail how you helped me. So what is it exactly that you do?
Okay. In a nutshell, first of all, BrightLife Auto Group. We're located in Clifton, New Jersey, Clifton, Passaic, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And we service pretty much everywhere, tri-state area, Florida, multiple states, you name it, we can get the vehicle to you. So in a nutshell, what most people are used to is going to the traditional auto dealer, spending a lot of time on researching a vehicle, and a lot of time, and most likely frustration, just getting the vehicle to sign and drive and getting into your driveway. There's a lot of hours, could be a lot of frustration, a lot of unknowns, a lack of transparency in pricing, and just not necessarily getting the vehicle in a very smooth, easy fashion that's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we represent vast majority of different manufacturers. We don't deal with like the Teslas of the world or the Rivians. Those are direct to consumer. But the typical, conventional Mercedes, BMW, Honda, Lexus, all those, Nissan, all those different cars, and many different types of EVs. So therefore, if somebody comes to me, whether they know what they want or not, or maybe they don't know what they want, I spend a lot of time with them, going through different options, what they need, what they want, and we're not a per se dealer. We don't have a lot of vehicles. What we do is we're like a concierge service, auto service. So somebody comes to me and they want a car. So I said, great, amazing. So listen what they have, what their needs are, give them an absolute great price. In essence, you can consider wholesale pricing. And it's as easy as, once you know what you want, you ask for your top, the top 3 colors, get a credit app, send it in, and the car's delivered. It could be delivered that day, the next day. It really depends on most, I would say vast majority of cars we're getting to you in the next, within the next day or so.
Nice.
Depending on inventory. Inventory has changed since COVID, depending on the manufacturers, but we work very quickly. You don't have to leave the confines of your home, your office. Everything these days is done via app. Convenience, quickness, price, service is all about, that's our world today. And so if I can provide that service, which I do, in the auto market, that's an amazing thing. You don't have to leave your home to get a car delivered to your doorstep.
Absolutely. And you talk about convenience and service being at your home. And that's just a piece of the puzzle. I feel like a big thing that you helped, for me, for example, is, I gave you what I was looking for. For example, I have a ton of equipment I need to transport to all of our clients, but I also have a baby in a car seat. So I wanted the baby in the car seat in one row, the third row down, and all my equipment in the back. So I gave you those were my prerequisites, help me in that aspect. We looked at different vehicles. But the big thing is that you're fighting on my behalf to get me the best deal, at the best price, the best terms. And not only that, you deliver it, everything from A to Z. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but everything from A to Z is taken care of. The license plate, you helped me with get the insurance all straightened out. Which brings me to my next question. I don't want to, put you on the hook, someone's gonna say, Doug said you did this for him. I don't want to put you on the hook, but how does the service work? Like, what is the process?
Right. So assuming that we work through all the different, for instance, for Doug, you were looking at a few different types of SUVs. So we narrowed it down to that Mazda, right?
Yeah.
Once we knew that, and once you said, okay, yeah, the price is amazing, great, it fits my budget, this is good. The next step would be, great. So let's get your just some of your personal information. So just like, and you would at a dealership, it's sent to the dealership to be
Yeah.
approved. Once it's sent to the dealership, tell me what are your top 3 colors. We obviously try to get that top color for you, that you want. And from that perspective, we submit everything and keep you in the loop of when we think that the car will be delivered to you, the ETA. And in the meantime, what we do is we like to, for the customer, if they agree upon it, handle the insurance, basically add the vehicle to the policy on your behalf, so you don't have to take the time out of your day to do that. We get the binder and the binder and the ID card for you. We submit it to the dealership, and once they have that, they're ready to rock and roll and ready to get the car delivered. So we have people that work with us that will deliver the car, like I said, office, doorstep, your dog's house, whatever. Okay, wherever you want it to be delivered. And the paperwork all comes from the particular dealership that the car comes from. People ask, well, what about the warranty? It's like, that's the same. All that stuff, it's like as if you're getting from the dealer. Nothing changes.
So it's exactly like you're getting it from the dealer, but it could be in your living room. You're signing,
exactly.
which it was for me.
Right, you're dealing with me. I'm your car
room.
guy, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with somebody else. You don't have to deal with that person that some people have had okay experiences with. They're coming up, approaching you at the dealership. The people just want to. I just want to look. I just want to like touch and feel the car. I don't want anybody like starting to sell me. So that takes that kind of maybe that sales anxiety or pressure off the table and kind of gives you more of a relaxed. And that's what we do. We give you a relaxed process, a smooth process, a white glove process.
So literally, that's with my situation. Like the most important thing for me, you guys can't see it because behind the camera, I have this huge C stand. You see this? This is the stand I was telling you about. This huge silver metal C. They call it a C stand. That broken down. I wanted it to fit diagonally because it's super long. You can't just unless you got like a F-150 or something truck. I wanted to fit diagonally. So literally, I was taking a tape measure and going to like my top 4 choices and making sure it would fit. Well, the dealers are coming over to me like, hey, like, let me help you here. I'm guys, I just use my tape measure because I knew like they were just gonna do a test drive. You want to do a test drive? Like I don't need to do a test drive.
Right.
But yeah, it was great. Like we narrowed it down, got the right aspects, and then like once you had like the list that I was like looking for, you went to work and you were like, hey, we can get this for this price, we can get that car, we can get this car, and it was great because you're fighting for me, and then I don't have to go and deal with all the jargon and all the stuff. Or you want to add this add-on, you want to put this on.
Right. And I think I even surprised you on the plug-in hybrid
version
of the car, meaning you're like, wait a minute, I got all this luxury stuff, leather sheets, all this stuff for like, for that price. So
and that's what I was saying to me. I was joking, but I was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I wanted a cheap vehicle that I could afford. This is leather seats and seat warmers and remote app start.
Now I'm spoiled. Right?
Yeah, the best car I've ever owned. The car before this was a 2013, God rest its soul. It's past. And we needed something new. But like navigation, the CarPlay connects automatically. It's got the chargers like on the holder. It's like all the bells and whistles. And the deal that you got for me does not reflect that. Like I have no business being in this car. Like you did awesome.
Thank you.
But yeah, like what made you get in? What were you doing before this? Because like I feel like the skills translated very well. You were great with me. What were you doing before this?
Well, I always loved cars. Growing up was cars was one of my passions. I always collected like those Hot Wheel like metal cars. My dad and I that's what we bonded on cars. I mean, that was what we did. So I always enjoyed talking about them. I love driving them.
Mhm.
like, and also just learning about them and the different features and different trims and stuff like that. So there's a lot out there. So when prior to this, I was in the insurance field for a long time, health insurance, life insurance, disability, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But obviously it's a sales role. It's going out, it's educating people, it's providing them a product that they might not know they need, but so it's a different thing. But that when I was out, had the opportunity to um, jump into this, I did, and there's a lot to learn.
Well, that's my
It's
next question. What made you get into?
Yeah, so I had a friend that I'm very close to that has had this business for like 10 years, and he was doing very well in it, and it was just a timing thing. It's
Mhm.
just, to have the time to train. There's a lot to It's a lot to learn.
Mhm.
You can't just jump in it. There's a lot to know about it. It's not just knowing the data points of the cars, but knowing how to price the cars, knowing how to there's a lot.
Awesome,
so
awesome.
so now I feel like I'm, definitely well versed in this
Definitely a
world.
car
Yeah,
guy.
exactly.
So we are live. So all you guys watching, and we do encourage you to put a question, comment, concern in the comment section because we can answer it live with you today, right now, with Sean from Bright Life. So please don't be shy. Put a question in the comment section. Um, so my question, I mean, you got my car, like literally was like days. I mean, it took me a few days to narrow down what car I actually wanted, but once we like knew what we were going for, I think it took like a day to get it in my driveway. But like, I don't, like I said, I want to put you on the hook because what you did for me. But like, how fast can you get people a car?
It can literally be that day. It could be the next day. Sometimes if the cars, for instance, let's say Toyota's
Mm-hmm.
production has been very limited in most of their vehicles. So if somebody wants a Sienna, somebody wants a Highlander,
Mm-hmm.
Grand Highlander, they're taking more time just
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the dealerships don't have them on their lots,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in transit or whatever. They're just the production. But if somebody wants Honda or a Nissan or most of the Hyundais or Kias, even the Kias have been not
Mm-hmm.
as it's becoming a lot better,
Yes.
like Kia. So yeah, I would say the vast majority of vehicles, you get them so fast that that it's our obviously our interest to move really quickly. First of all, for our reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the customer wants a car, and sometimes their circumstances warrant it to be quicker. Either they got in an accident,
Mm-hmm.
or the car was stolen, or they just they need one. They just need one ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we have our first live question here
oh
today.
wow, okay,
So Connor's joining us. Hey Connor, how you doing? We love Connor.
hey Connor.
Um, so Connor asked Sean, can you get used/pre-owned cars as well?
So the answer is hi, Connor. First of all, thanks so much. Um, yes, we can. We do. We now when it comes to used cars, we don't have like a lot. We don't
Yeah.
have a used car lot, but there's a lot of sourcing that we do. We have a lot of people that we go to that can source the cars for us. So if there's a specific car that you want, um, and then we would try to obviously get the car for you
Mm-hmm.
at the price that you need it for. So the answer is yes, and that's obviously our main. I would say the main focus of our business is new leasing and sales.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer is yes.
Awesome. So here's a good question. Hope it doesn't get you in trouble. Mike Flaherty asks, can you get us out of a lease or financing and get into a new car?
Yes. So the lease. So to get out of a lease, people ask me all this question in particular all the time. Now it depends on how you can always get out of a lease.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, how much will it cost you to get a lease? Because a lease is in essence, if you treat a lease, it's in essence it's a
Mm-hmm.
loan, right?
Yeah.
And you agree to a contract to pay X amount of payments for X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
If a typical lease is 36 months, 39 months. Now, if somebody is, especially, well, especially during the COVID years,
Mm-hmm.
the used car pricing was so high that people were able to get out of the leases and had equity in their vehicle, meaning there was money there in the vehicle, that the market value was greater than the actual loan on the car. They
Mm-hmm.
were able to get out of the lease early and not have to pay the bank back for that amount.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, used car pricing has dropped since then.
Mm-hmm.
So most leases, you would have to, if you're close to the mature date, let's say you're 2 months, 3 months, sometimes it's worth to get out of the lease, especially if there's a very good deal on a particular car for that month. It
Mm-hmm.
might be advantageous to do so. But in most cases these days, you do, like, anybody that tells you this, anybody that says, "Oh, I can get you out of your lease, you're not going to have to pay anything," well,
Mm-hmm.
what they're really saying is that we're going to take the balance of the lease payments and roll it into the new car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there are many times we do that because but we're transparent about it. So the answer is yes, you can get a lease. It just depends on your situation. So if you have a specific situation, you can reach out to me directly. I'll tell you exactly what to do. Financing is you owe X amount of money left on your loan. If the car is worth more than the loan, then we offer you, we can take the trade in.
Mm-hmm.
We have our wholesalers. Hey, we can offer you this amount of money, and whatever equity is there, or the difference between the market value and what you own, you can use that to roll into a new vehicle. You could take it, you can pocket it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to do it. But that's how you would do it. Yeah.
So when I was looking, I was watching a ton of YouTube videos, and I think one of the topics I would see is what we're talking about. They kept saying like negative. Oh, like it was this one guy, we like live negotiations and live, like the guy is like the owner of the dealership, and his like salesman would come up and ask him questions,
Mhm.
and it'd be like live. He'd be like live, and he would, a lot of times he'd be like, how much negative equity do they have?
Yeah.
So that's like the months and how much they owe.
Right.
So you're saying no, does, like, let's just say you got a Jeep
Mhm.
and you wanted to get rid of the Jeep and get a Mercedes or whatever.
Mhm.
Something to get a Mercedes or whatever. Does that Mercedes dealership take the Jeep and roll over? Like,
Yeah.
like what? Where's the how is this affecting the negative equity of the person? They have to pay. Do they have to still pay them those payments?
So I'll give you the idea. Let's say there are specific cars that might have, when they say equity, I'll give you an example. When you own a home, let's say you have a $500,000 mortgage on a
Mhm.
home, but the market value is 700,000. So you sell the house for 700,000.
Mhm.
So now you have 200,000 of positive equity in the house when you sell it.
Mhm.
Now the flip side is you have a mortgage for 500,000, but the market value is 300,000.
Mhm.
So you're negative 200,000. So that's what negative equity is, right? So same thing with a car. Now, if there's sometimes there are cars, let's say maybe Hondas, Toyota Siennas, different cars that actually have, you might be a couple months away from the end of the lease, and that car might have positive equity. So you can actually possibly get out of that
Leverage it.
lease and
Mhm.
roll in, we can, evaluate it and possibly roll in some of that positive, that,
Mhm.
call it, if you want to call it, I don't know, profit's the right word, but equity
Mhm.
into a new lease and lower the payments on new lease. But most cars are coming out, I would say, if you're premature on the lease ending, meaning you have a few more months left on the lease. I just did one. They're ending in June. They wanted to get out now and go into a new car. So they had 4 more payments of
Mhm.
$600. So that's $2,400 they have left on the lease. So what did we do? We took the 2,400, we divided by 36, 39 months, and we added to the payment. They knew that this is the best way. Either they can write a check out to, the car company, and this is what I owe on left on lease, or we can roll into the new lease. It was advantageous for them to do that because they were still saving a lot of money on the new lease. We got such a good price that they were actually end up paying less per month, even by rolling it in, than they were on their car that they were paying for, that
Nice.
they're getting rid of. So, but dealers do all the time, and there's no trick to it. Just, if the car, it just depends on the market value of the car and versus what's owed on the vehicle.
Nice. The questions are rolling in. So thank you guys. It makes my life easy. I don't have to ask my questions. I can answer your questions. So Abiola asks, what's the most reliable car right now?
Wow, it's a it's a loaded question. Um, I would say that Toyotas and Lexus have notoriously been the most reliable vehicles on the road,
Mhm.
um, and they're priced that way. I think when you look at let's say a Toyota Highlander, or even, it could be a RAV4, it could be a Sienna, it could be,
Mhm.
a Grand Highlander. When you look at the prices versus the Hondas, and Hondas are also have had great reputation. They're they're priced more. They're
Mhm.
priced. If somebody wants, I do a lot, for some reason I just do a lot of minivans.
Mhm.
So a Sienna minivan versus a Honda Odyssey, it could be an $8,000 difference,
Mhm.
on the van. So, but to answer your question, I think depending on what you want, if you want an SUV, like a mid-size SUV, the Highlanders, the Pilots are good. The Kia and Hyundais are making great, Telluride, great SUVs. SUVs have really taken over the market these days, whether they're a three-row, a seven-seater, eight-seater. But if there's a five-seater, the Honda hybrid CRV are great. Mazdas are great. So Mazdas are now like
I would
owned
hope
by
so.
owned by Toyota. Yeah, yeah, right. Totally. They're like, actually, if you right now, the best value have been, in at least in the crossover SUV market, the
Mhm.
Mazdas, um, and the Nissans. If somebody's wanting to get something like their price, the price conscious, you want the best bang for the buck, I would say those, and then it goes up from there, from Hyundai, Kia, and then Toyota, in that
Mhm.
kind of order.
Awesome.
And then
Awesome.
just the luxury market, like, the luxury market is a totally different market.
Awesome. So John asks, he goes, "Hey guys, how you doing, John? We love John as well. What is the greatest mileage agreement you can get on a lease?"
The greatest mile, you mean how many miles that you can get total?
I guess like what's the best? Like I know like mine's like 10,000 a year. I
Oh,
guess like what's the
sure,
best you can get? Like
right.
20,000 a year.
I believe it even goes up to 25,000.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah, some manufacturers won't do it, and the lowest I've seen is 5,000 from Honda.
Mm-hmm.
5,000,
I'm
7,500,
going 2 blocks
10,000,
a day.
12, 15, 17.5. It's some like some manufacturers also do it. They'll do, like, American cars are always sometimes like 10,500. They're a little different.
Mhm.
But yeah, but if that answers your question, I believe
Sure.
it's 25,000. I don't think I've ever did 25 or 30,000, because what happens is, even if you go from 10,000 to 20,000 or 15, the jump is almost like $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It could be $100, even more a month, from that
For just how many miles?
from going up, from jumping from, let's say, the standard 10
To
to
20?
like 20.
I mean, is that reasonable? 100 mile, 10,000 miles for $100 extra? Is that
10
like,
10,000 miles a year.
yeah?
Yeah,
Is that
10,000 more. So that's, so over, let's say, over a 3-year lease, it's 30,000 miles more. It's just what happens. It affects the residual value of the car,
mhm.
because it's car's more used, right? The more chance. So the
Only if you put those miles on though?
right, but you're paying for it up front.
Yeah.
Meaning, so what I always tell people is that if there's
Here's the tip. Listen
yeah,
up.
right.
Here it
This is the
is.
tip. So
Okay.
so for every 1,000 miles somebody drives over their what they've allotted for, what they
Mhm.
paid for, it's usually between 150 to $250, depending. If it's 15 cents, it's $150 for every thousand.
Mhm.
27 20, it's on your lease contract. It'll tell you 15 cents per mile for excess, 20, 25. Those are the standard. So somebody is, trying to figure out, okay, do I need 10,000? Might be, I'm in the middle between 10,000 and 12,000. Going from 10 to 12 might be like from 10 to $15 is
Mhm.
on average the price increase from 10 to
Mhm.
12. But if somebody doesn't know exactly, they'll use that calculation. Okay, so maybe if I bought 10,000 miles over my 3-year lease, maybe I'm at 35,000 miles.
Mhm.
So that 5,000 miles at 20 cents a mile is $1,000. So, they have to do the calculation. They take, so if they're somewhere in between, they'll take if it costs from 10,000 miles to 12,000, another, call it, $10 a month, right? So that's over 36 months. That's $10 a month. That's 300 am I doing the math right? $360.
Yeah, should just add a zero.
So
right?
$360. Right. So $360. So you can do the calculation very easily
Mhm.
to figure out if it's worth it to do the bump up or not, based on how much they charge for excess miles.
Nice.
If that's clear.
Yeah. Another follow-up question with that is, when is leasing better than buying? What are some
Okay.
examples? I know every situation is probably different, yada yada yada. But if there's like, maybe give us pros and cons leasing versus buying.
Okay. So the pros of leasing are, number one, it's all priority based, right?
Mhm.
So some people like to have a car every 3 years or 24 months.
Mhm.
Typically you can get leases for 24 months. You get leases sometimes for 18 months. Typical is 36 months. So if people are concerned, hey, I don't really, especially everything's expensive today. Everybody knows that. You go to a mechanic, a lot of mechanics don't even know how to fix these cars anymore, because if it gets into electronics, because it's a lot of microprocessors, microchips, it's pretty advanced.
Mhm.
So everything costs a lot of money. So if somebody wants to stay within the warranty period, leasing is the best way to go, because you never have a hassle. Everything's covered by the warranty.
It's not your problem.
You make the oil changes. Sometimes the oil changes are free anyways, and that's it. You don't typically have to deal with the tires unless you're like, they're very, very bald at the end of the lease, but most of the time you have to do that. You don't have to deal with brakes, all that stuff. So that's covered under the warranty. That's number one. Number two is that some people, to buy a car these days, a decent car, it's expensive. You're looking at 30s, 40s, 20s don't really get me that much, these days. So you have to put a decent amount down in order to get your payment.
Mhm.
So if somebody's trying to fall within a budget and they want to buy a car that's in, something $40,000 car with, after taxes, after all,
Mhm.
plates and stuff like that, you got to put down like $10,000-$15,000 just to get down the payment into maybe in the sixes, depending on the interest rate.
Mhm.
If you pay cash, okay, you're paying cash. You're not paying any interest charge. And if you're going to keep the car 8 to 10 years, you're free of any car payment. So that could be good. That could be beneficial. But the one thing I want to tell you is that you can get into a much nicer car at a lower price point to lease a car than to buy a car. So that's, and you don't have to put much money down at signing in order to do so. So I'm of the mindset, there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm in the mindset that if you're going to buy a car and you can put $15,000, $20,000, $10,000, I'm a finance guy. I'd rather put that money in the market, S&P 500, let it go, and that money is going to be worth in the next 10 years more than a depreciating asset, because that's what a car is. A car depreciates. You buy a car, you leave it that day from the lot, it drops 20 to 30% right off the bat. So now you had something you paid a lot of money for, and it's lower. It's worth lower than you bought it for a second later. So that's another way why leasing to me is could be advantageous.
It's funny that right when you said put the money in the market, Matt Livian joined us. Hey, Matt. So yeah, that would be the guy you give the extra money to right there.
Yeah.
Awesome. But we do want to remind you guys, we are live. So if you got a question, comment, or concern, you could put it in the comments section and we'll answer it live. Why isn't it popping up? There you go. Put it in the comments section. We'll answer it live. We thank you guys for joining us. Maybe some of you on your lunch break, and now you get to learn about Sean Abrams from BrightLife. He's helped me, can hopefully help you. So please put some questions in the comments section. We'll answer them live here. What companies, what car companies do you work with? Is there a limit? What are your top?
No. So a coworker of mine just did a Defender, a Range Rover. We do BMWs, as Matt knows. We have obviously pretty much if you ask me, do you do Lamborghinis or Ferraris? I can't say I have done one. Can we do it? It's a different model. It's just a different model. With those cars, you can't just like go in and pick one up. There's an order process. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But
it's not like you're going in and fighting for the best price.
Yeah.
It's like, you're lucky you're getting one.
Yeah. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different
beast.
So, but from from Chevys to Cadillacs, BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, all the pretty
Yeah.
much all the major, like I said before, the Teslas of the world, and the Rivians and the Lucids. It's like it's a different type of situation there. But EVs have been very popular. The BMW iX, the Cadillac Lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
the Honda Prologues, the Acura ZDXs, some of the Kias, and Hyundai Ioniqs. Those have been popular, and there's a lot of competition that I believe that Tesla has now in the
Yeah,
marketplace.
absolutely. And speaking of the EVs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've seen when I was like going around the dealerships, and then when mine is a hybrid. Right now we don't know how long it's going to last, but aren't there incentives? So
Right.
like because my car is a plug-in hybrid, we got incentives and green initiatives, whatever. So like now, if you're on the fence, now might be a good time because you can get a really nice car that's a hybrid with gas and electric, and you get some type of
Yeah, the
incentive.
dealers are really pushing these EVs. The vast majority of these EVs had like these $7,500 federal rebates on the car,
Yeah.
plus manufacturer rebates on top of it. So you're having these like real super expensive cars, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000 EVs that are, leasing for such incredible low numbers.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't even need to charge it. It has a hybrid option, but I can
Right.
run gas. So
Right,
like,
right. So
if gas is my thing, I'm getting the perks of the incentives,
yes,
and I don't have to charge it if I don't want to charge it. I
right.
just use the gas.
So what Doug is mentioning is the plug-in hybrid, the PHEV. He has a Mazda CX-90 PHEV. So the plug-ins have qualified for that. Now the normal hybrids, it's like that don't have a plug-in, don't have that federal rebate. And so it's like the EVs that are totally electric, and then like there are a bunch of PHEVs that do. So, and what he mentioned is that we don't know how long this federal mandate's going to go for. I'm telling people that my guess, my hunch is it's they're going to be cut because the new administration, I believe, is probably, they're like cutting federal spending, as we speak.
They're literally paying thousands of dollars for people just to get a hybrid.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably not going to be,
which is great for me, but like as a country, probably not the best to be shelling out money for people's cars.
Exactly. So if that goes away, that's going to put the EV market into the playing field that everybody else is in. But it's still today. If you want one, definitely reach out to me. There's some really good EVs out there that actually feel like and drive like cars. They're not. It's not an iPod on wheels.
This is great. I don't have to charge it. I do charge it because I plug it in at night, overnight. I think the first 40 miles that I drive, if I'm like, there's different modes you could set it at.
Right.
Mine, the first 40 miles I drive is all electric. When that battery dies, it kicks on the gas. But I'm so close to the studio, like I think I
drive electric. You want?
Yeah, I literally just fill the gas tank up once, plug it in at night. We'll see what my electric bill is.
Yeah, I have the same. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee hybrid. I plug in, so I know exactly it's the same type of thing. I plug in every night. So, it's definitely there's a lot out there. So, I mean, I'm here to help anybody.
Absolutely. Well, we still got more questions, so you're not off the hook that easy. And we do appreciate your questions, so thank you very much. Keep them coming.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
John asks, does Toyota offer a $25,000 lease on a Tundra?
I have to check.
Do we have anything in the ballpark? Or we're making a deal right now, live on the spot.
So
Johnny better be ready to sign if he says yes.
So I have to tell. So I have to. And I'm a very very transparent person. When I know something, I tell I don't know. Meaning it's very easy for me to find out exactly first of all how much it would cost. I have to run the program and see. So I can get back to you on that. I just don't have a solid answer right now to tell you.
The numbers right in front of us, but I'm sure we can get you a.
Also, another thing that's important to know is that sometimes when we lease a car, we'll lease it through like a third-party bank and not necessarily through Toyota or Honda Financial, because it behooves somebody to do that because they're going to save money on the lease. So sometimes the third-party bank only has a certain amount of miles they'll allow, but I give those options to the people that I'm working with. Say, hey, I don't know, U.S. Bank, Bethpage, whatever the third party bank is,
Mhm.
allow this, but and their payment is this. You can save, I don't know, you can save 30, 40, $50 a month. Do you want to do it over, let's say, Title Financial or Honda? So that's
Absolutely.
why it's like,
We
that's just another
we got to
example.
get Stacy and Craig on board, and we get them to get Stacy to to supply the loans too, and then we'll really be cooking with gas here. Um, thank you guys so much. John says thank you guys. I appreciate the guys' questions. Keep the questions coming if you got them. We're coming to the final stretch here, so put your questions in here as soon as possible. But we kind of touch base on a lot. I mean, unless you guys at home have anything interesting you want to ask, how about you, Reed, our producer, Reed in the corner? You got any questions? Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, I could tell you firsthand experience testimonial. Uh, Great to work with, super quick, super fast, responsive. When you went out of your way to find the deals, and you were giving me like, hey, we can get this for this car, we can get this for this car. So it was a no brainer for me, and I was going to dealerships with tape measure and stuff, so it was a no brainer for me. I don't know if you want to go into like you're fighting for your client to get the best deal. You're not just talking to a regular any old salesman on the
Right,
floor. You
right.
have
Sales.
these
That's right.
relationships with dealerships,
That's right.
so you have more of a pull, and you make come on, Jenny,
Right.
like you know what I mean. It's not like you're just walking into a random dealership. You built these relationships with a vast majority of a dealership, so you're gonna get
Right.
that
So,
deal.
what Doug is saying is that, like, when somebody is shopping for a car and they walk into a dealership, that's, we call that, that's a retail. That's retail. And we work with the fleet guys of the dealership. Now, not every dealership has fleet guys. Most, vast majority do. So we work with them. So in essence, we're like the wholesale department. We work with so you consider our pricing like wholesale pricing. And if somebody, there's a lot of material, a lot of information on YouTube that I tell people, if they want to hear people, reviewing vehicles, that there's very popular, guys on YouTube that are reviewing the details of every single car, like inside, outside, this, that, and which is great, a great place to just hear about the vehicles, especially because when people are asking me, oh, colors or this, you're going to get better information sometimes on there than the actual manufacturer's website, because even looking at colors of exterior paint, you can't really see the paint that well. But if you're seeing a YouTube video outside on the lot, you can see it better. And I always say, listen, you can go to a dealer, test drive the car. If you narrowed it down, come back to me. And I'm just looking, I'm just starting my process. Don't just want to test drive it, just, and there'll be, they'll obviously give you the green light to test drive it, and then you just come back to me and say, hey, what can you do?
Absolutely. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure even if they did give you a number there, I'm sure you could beat it.
Yeah. They give, if you sit right, if you sit down,
even if you sat down, they gave you a
happens
number,
all the
you're gonna
time.
beat them.
Yeah, this happens all the time. They'll write down like this number, and I don't like anything else in life. Nothing's created equal. There's some dealerships that are better than other dealerships, and some, you know, uh, but you'd always have to take, I feel like, in essence, um, until you're in the room signing the contract and seeing what you're signing, then that's, to me, that's the real number at the end of the day, in terms of like when you're there. When you get back to me and give me it, and I say, hey, yeah, I can. This is what I can offer you. I can beat the pricing. Then that's my word. And I'm not asking for, like, we're not. That's what the contract's what's going to say.
Exactly.
That's what's going to be drafted out of your account every month that you set up with whoever you're getting the car through, whether it's Honda, Mazda, Lexus. It doesn't make a difference.
And that's what we kind of grazed upon over, which is a huge pull point with you, is like when you go to these dealerships, there's like, jargon and add-ons, and they might give you a number to start, but by the time you're walking out with taxes and fees and all this stuff, where you're just clear cut, this is what you need down, this is your monthly payment, like
that's
it.
There's
You eliminated all the jargon, you
Right.
eliminated all the BS.
There's no fine print.
Yeah, no fine print. It's great stuff. Last chance, if anybody at home wants to add a question, comment, concern in the comments section, we could answer it live here with you today on LeTip Live. So now's your chance. Coming to the home stretch, so put them in there now while you can. We'll give people another second if they want to put in a question. But while they're putting their questions in the comments section, any comments, questions, concerns from you, my friend?
No, I just have to say that give props to Doug. He's excellent at what he does. First time in his like studio today, I'm very impressed, and he knows what he's doing. And you know, I definitely, if anybody's in the field that where he can help, you know, podcasts, social media, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, you know, reach out to him because he's a great guy, very honest, transparent, and he's very he knows what he's doing. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
You made my day. Thank you, brother.
Sure. My pleasure.
Last chance for the people at home. It looks like you answered a ton of them, so I don't expect a lot of questions, but I appreciate coming in, and let's do a little, we'll do a little speed round. This might be a little advanced for Reed. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but there's a ticking time. There's a ticker on there, but we won't get that advanced for you today. Don't worry about it. Reed's learning this switcher over here. Don't worry about it. So we're going to do a speed round. I'm going to rapid fire ask you easy questions, and you just kind of give me the first answer that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Reed, put it on camera one or something. You don't look at me. They're not interested in me. Put it on John. All right. Sean, favorite color?
Green.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite dessert?
Oh, probably donuts.
Favorite TV show? It could be streaming, Netflix, TV, whatever.
Well, probably series is probably either Seinfeld or Office back in the day.
Nice. I'm an Office fan as well. Favorite movie?
Good Will Hunting.
Beautiful. Favorite thing to do that has nothing to do with work? Leisure activity?
I'm a big skier.
Wow.
Actually going to Colorado on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife and I ski. We're pretty
Nice.
hardcore. I surf, ski, and just work out. Like, I like active. Try to be active.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that you just made your own question. So now the question would be: are you a snow bunny or a beach bum? You had to choose one.
Snow bunny.
You're a snow bunny?
No, I don't know what to go. Snow bunny. Ski bum, you mean?
Ski bunny? Is that what it is?
Ski bum.
Ski bum. All right.
No, I actually probably prefer the mountains.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So like, if you were going on vacation, and like today,
there's a time and place for everything.
I guess,
but
I guess
like,
now that we're in the cold, you want to go warm, and when you're in the warm,
exactly,
you want to go ski.
No, but I love skiing. I love ski resorts. I like the whole vibe and being out in the fresh air. Yeah, especially out west, it's like a different world.
Awesome. Yeah. Favorite book or a quote or something business tip that you want to give people out there?
Business tip. Well, I'm not a big quote guy. Books, it's hard to say. I can't on the top of my mind. I'm trying to think of like the best book. I like a lot of autobiographies. I like to learn about people. But so that's kind of like everybody's life's different, so it's kind of hard. But in regards to business ideas, I think I try to live up to people's, I've high expectations of myself, and I wanna give and provide and serve as much as I can. I care about what I do, and I want to feel good at the end of the day. So therefore I like the feedback. I like when people are happy. I want to try to make them happy. And all I can do is, obviously some things are out of control and everything in life, businesses you have your challenges, your ups and downs, but like at the end of the day, I get my satisfaction for people. Like, for instance, you are happy with their new car, and it puts a smile on their face and achieves what they want out of life. So yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way to end the speed round.
All right,
that's great. That's great. Last chance. If you put in the comment section right now, we might be able to ask it, but last chance. Read any questions, comments, concerns?
Can you give me a Golf R?
A Gold 4? What? A Golf R? What kind of car is that?
It's a Volkswagen Golf.
Oh, back. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Come on, Reed. Were you watching the whole episode? What are you doing over there? Well, thank you guys for watching. It looks like that we answered all the questions here in the
perfect.
live stream.
Thanks everybody. Really appreciate everybody from LeTip. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming
questions.
in.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on LeTip Live.